So when we talk about glycogen being the primary fuel for the glycolytic system, remind me, what is happening to my intensity as the time goes on? It's going down. Okay, so here we end up seeing two different flavors. Okay, we actually see fast glycolysis and slow glycolysis. We actually call this aerobic glycolysis, and we call this anaerobic. Okay, do y'all really know how hard it is to write and talk at the same time sometimes? Okay, two different flavors of glycolysis. So what we see happen is, remember, when you burn something, you get a byproduct. So when I burn glycogen, what do I get? Starts with a P. Pyruvate. Now, pyruvate on its own really doesn't do anything without some other chemical reactions. And after this chemical reaction takes place with pyruvate, we end up seeing lactate come into play. Now, what starts to happen as those lactate molecules start to come together? We actually end up at our, what was this called? Lactate threshold. Now, is lactic acid the cause of the problem? No, it is not. This is a crime scene, okay? Lactic acid did not commit the crime. It happened to be hanging out at 7-Eleven around a bunch of hoodlums. Not hoodlums, but actually what? Hydrogen ions. And they were so positively charged that once that happened, once you reach your lactate threshold, you are truly done. Now, here's my question. How does it feel to get to your lactate threshold? Quite terrible. Do many people quit before the crime scene? Yes. What is the only way to increase your body's ability to buffer off hydrogen ions? You got to get to your lactate threshold and then do what? Push the limit just a bit. Push the limit just a little bit. Now, if we want the intensity to stay higher and the body needs a little bit more oomph because it's going to go a little longer, a really cool thing happens. Okay? This lactate can actually be shuttled off. Does anybody remember what this was? It's the Krebs cycle, but it's actually the mitochondria. Okay? It funnels through the mitochondria. It gets a little extra oomph, that's scientific terms there, and it allows you to keep the intensity higher while the duration is longer. Okay? So it goes through the mitochondria. What's this actually called? It's actually called the Krebs cycle. Excellent. Now, is my 800-meter runner eventually going to reach their lactate threshold? Yes or yes? Yes. It still ends up getting here if the training program has been created efficiently and effectively. Is my 800-meter runner ever going to get faster if they eventually don't funnel through the mitochondria and push their lactate threshold? No. The body will respond to whatever you ask it to. So in thinking about that, that's a review of everything from Tuesday. Any questions from the review? After you meditated on it, prayed on it, asked your body to remember it, do you remember most of this from Tuesday? Question, Michael.
Yeah. So if you were drawing an arrow,
okay,
would you go from the lactate to the Krebs to the, would you go that way? Do you have to go through that, or is that time dependent?
Not time dependent, but intensity dependent.
Okay.
Okay, because go back to my 800-meter runner.
Yeah, you were further over. 2 minutes.
But because of the duration, but I'm wanting to keep the intensity as high as I can, this is the only way that I can keep the intensity high as possible for the duration of the event. Okay? Keep asking yourself the question, can an 800-meter runner run at the same intensity as a mile runner? No. Do the math. Keep going back to the math. Okay? Give me an absolute killer time on an 800.
1:38.
I think
Okay.
you said that backwards.
What?
What?
Did you? No.
That's killer.
Don't you need, can an 800 or a mile runner run at the same intensity as an 800? No? Am I wrong?
Okay.
Shut up.
Do the math. Do the math. Okay? Can did I say it backwards?
Yeah, you said it, so it's
Okay. So here's the thing. Do the math. Let's do it. Let's take that backwards. Give me an amazing time on an 800. 154. Okay. So here's my question. If my athlete is rocking out a 154 on an 800 meters, okay? If the intensity could stay this high, that means that athlete could run a 4-minute mile. Is that possible? No. What is happening to the intensity as the duration is getting longer? It has to go down. Same thing with a 400 meter. Okay? Give me a killer 400 meter time. 49? Okay. Let's even go
47.
You can run faster than a 40. People run
44.
faster than yeah. If we go with a 44, okay? Let's dream big. Dream big. Hey, I know it's weird. Yesterday, let me throw this in because I throw stuff in. Little life lesson. And I can't believe that I learned a life lesson. I'm a little humbled to admit this. Last night, here we go from down. Did y'all watch any of the downhill last night?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It is crazy. But so then they take you to this adrenaline-packed downhill to the figure skating.
Yeah.
It's like, whoo, whoo. But you got to have an appreciation of the athleticism of the figure skating. Yes or yes? Yes. Okay, here's the lesson from last night. And we had like a family discussion about this. Okay? One of the couples that was skating, the guy did a triple Lutz, which I can't believe I know that. And then the chick chickened out and only did a double. And the announcer said this: it's better to attempt a triple and fail than be stuck with a double. Okay? Dream big. Shoot big. Okay? Here's the whole thing. She brought her intensity down, which meant it did not yield the best. That's kind of the overlay with all this. Keep your intensity as high as you possibly can. Okay? You guys, to me, all I kept thinking is those programs or those routines, you guys, those were 3 and 4 minute long programs. It seems like the duration of those has continued. So here you have these people training this huge power. I mean, I know some of those girls were little, but did y'all see those guys were chunking those chicks? Like it was nothing, like, and then going over and catching them. It was awesome. How much force were they generating in those? But not pay attention to the programming. They would have a giant force move, then there would be some lower intensity so that what could refill? ATP could refill before they all of a sudden did it again. So realistically, could that guy repeatedly throw that chick in the air on a 6-second interval? No, she'd bust her tail on the ice. Okay? The energy systems work if we will just let them work. Your body will respond to whatever you ask it to. But man, we think that we're smarter than the body. We're not smarter than the body. We are not smarter than the body. Okay, all